I'm gonna start the I'm gonna start the recording because later I forget. Um, and can somebody give me a thumbs up that you guys are able to see my screen, please? Okay, okay, okay. So yesterday somebody was asking, remember that I'm doing the daily practices, but not everything. And then we started discussing a little bit about just focus on the daily practices, and you will get to a point where it's going to become your second nature. So what you were describing, Chetali, I know it's your first time doing the magic book, but this is how it becomes the second nature when you start living in the present. You're not worried about the future, and you're not frustrated or angry about the past. And like you said, you're walking and you are just thinking about the good stuff, being in gratitude. That is what we expect to happen with each one of us once we start doing these practices daily. And once you have done this book like multiple times, um, then you just accelerate the practices even more. You add your touch to it because at the end of the day, you have to be able to connect to these practices. And you add your touch and you basically do it all the time you're awake. Like you'll be surprised how it changes you. With that, let's move on to day 23. All the advanced practices now. Advanced, but very simple at the same time. So, day 23, the magical air that you breathe. When we are not aware of how much privileged we are in the world, we take a lot of things for granted. Think about the air. Like we are breathing ever since we were born. We are nonstop, we are breathing, we are using the air. Think about how much supply of air is present in the world. Never finishes, right? But yet, we don't think about it. We don't think about it at all. We have taken it for granted that till we are living, we are going to have the air and we are going to breathe and it's all good. No, no big deal about the air. Has anybody experienced a moment when they were not able to breathe? Maybe they were underwater, maybe they were ill. Um, if any one of us has that experience, they will know the value of air. Think about the time during COVID when people were not able to breathe and there was a lot of shortage of oxygen. What was in their mind at that time? All these people who were suffering, their focus at the time was on one thing, air, which most of us do not even think about at all in our entire life. And that is what we are going to talk about today, the magical air. Why is it so important? I think we all understand why it is so important, why the trees are important. What happens if we don't have trees? Focus on some of the areas where there are a lot of people but very less trees. What's happening there? Okay, so very simple thing that we use every day, but we never acknowledge, but we never say any thank you to that. It is quite possible to leave your home for a walk in the early morning air and return a different person, beguiled and enchanted. I think every one of us has experienced this. If you go out in the morning when the environment is good, the air is fresh, the air is pleasant, how do you come back after the walk? You come back as a totally different person. You come back happy. You come back energetic. You have a lot of energy. The lethargy is all gone. The fatigue goes away. Why? Why is that? It is the freshness and the pleasant air that you encounter outside in the morning. So this was written by Mary Ellen Chase, the quote, um, an educator and writer. If someone had told me a few years back to be grateful for the air that I breathe, I would have thought the person was crazy. It wouldn't have made a bit of sense to me. Why on earth would anyone be grateful for the air they breathe? Because we have taken it for granted. We are using the air ever since we were born, every single day. And it is free. And this is what happens when somebody is getting something for free, the value goes down for it. Suppose every breath we have taken, put 25 cents to that, and then do a math once. Take your age, number of days, number of hours, number of breaths. I'm going to assume, I don't know for real, but I'm going to assume we take one breath every 2 seconds or so. Google it if you want precise math, and then do the math. If every breath was only 25 cents or 25 pennies, how much money is spent on you for your life? Once you have that number against how much breath you have paid for or somebody has paid for you, you're going to have a total different regard for the air. But as my life changed from using gratitude, the things that I took for granted or didn't give a second thought about became an absolute miracle to me. I went from sweating the small stuff in my little world and day-to-day life to opening my eyes and thinking about the bigger picture and wonder of the universe. This is a difference between a person who's not aware, a person who is a new practitioner, versus a person who has been practicing this book for many years and who is an experienced practitioner. Right? When a person who is not aware of things, when a person who is still an amateur in these practices, they worry a lot. They swear about little things. This person told me this, that person told me that. Yesterday, that person did not wait for me. Today, it is too hot. Tomorrow, it is raining. Today, it is too cloudy. We sweat on small, little, silly stuff. But once you become more aware, once you become experienced, you start to acknowledge things that you have taken for granted in your life. The big picture. You know how some people say, don't sweat the small stuff. Look at the big picture. Have a big vision. That is the transformation that comes in people after they start practicing these little daily activities that Rhonda Byrne has suggested. As the great scientist Newton said, when I look at the solar system, I see the Earth at the right distance from the sun to receive the proper amounts of heat and light. This did not happen by chance. So let's break it down into a few things. One, an immature person, an unaware person will not even think about these things because an immature person is going to take it for granted. The sun is coming out every single day. What's a big deal? Sun sets every day. What's a big deal? We are getting the right amount of heat and light every day. What's a big deal? And if you spend some extra time, you look at the documentaries somewhere on YouTube, Netflix, wherever, but you can see why there cannot be life on other planets because all these situations or circumstances are not ideal there. So, do we really feel or do we really think that the right amount of everything on earth um, happened just by chance? or somebody is taking care of it, or somebody, some chemical formula, some physical formula is making all this happen for us. Those words made me think more and more about the bigger picture. It's not an accident that there's a protective atmosphere surrounding us, and that beyond it, there's no air or oxygen. It's not an accident that the trees give off oxygen so that our atmosphere is continually replenished. What happens if there is no trees around us? Why does our oxygen supply never ends? Is that all happening by accident? It's not an accident that our solar system is perfectly placed, and that if it were anywhere else in the galaxy, we would most likely be devastated by cosmic radiation. There are thousands of parameters and ratios that support life on Earth. All of them are on a knife edge, and their fine tuning is so critical that a fraction of a difference in any of these parameters and ratios would make life unlivable on planet Earth. What happens if, like, the Earth is on a certain angle? What happens if that changes a little bit? What happens? We keep hearing that there are holes, and I don't know the entire science behind it, so please don't quote me on this, but we keep hearing that there are holes um, in the ozone layer. Why are some people worried about those holes? Right? There are certain parameters and ratios that this entire galaxy or universe is working. What happens if that starts to change a little bit? Who is holding all this together? And I want to be very careful when we are discussing this. We are not talking a particular God, we are not talking a particular belief system. Please have your belief system. We are not challenging those. All we are saying is that there are certain energies, certain physical laws, chemical laws, formulas that is keeping it all together. And none of this is by accident. So please do not, um, I am by no way I'm transacting it with any religious belief. That's not what Rhonda Byrne is doing. That's not what I am sitting here and trying to do. It is difficult to believe any of these things could have happened by accident. It would seem that they are perfectly designed, perfectly placed, perfectly balanced for us. When this realization hits you that all of these things might not be an accident, and that the balance of every microscopic element surrounding Earth and on Earth is in perfect harmony to support us, you will feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude for life because all of it has been done to sustain you. A lot of experienced practitioners also say thank you for the five elements. Five elements that this universe is made up of, the same five elements are inside us too. And the reason we do that is basically to acknowledge that these five elements, and we are going to get into the details of those at a later time, these five elements are sustaining us. We are acknowledging it, we are showing gratitude towards it, and it becomes a daily practice for all of us. The magical air that you breathe is not an accident or a fluke of nature. When you think about the enormous, I always stumble on this word, enormousness of what had to take place in the universe for us to have air, and you then take a breath. Breathing air into your body becomes breathtaking in every sense of the word. So the two exercise really help. Like if somebody is still struggling with what's the big deal about the air, Try to put a dollar or a rupee or wherever you are from, try to put a monetary value against the amount of air that you have used in this life. Number of breaths you have taken and your age. Put a dollar value to it, put a monetary value to it. Once you do that, you're going to see how much money is already spent on you. That is one. Another is we all can remember the COVID situation. Think about the time when people were not getting oxygen to breathe. How terrified everybody became at that point. But when that time passed, we again became unaware of how important it is. We again got caught in the small stuff of life. Who said what? Why did they do it? Why is today cloudy? Tomorrow was raining. Little stuff, little silly stuff. We take one breath after another and never give a thought to the fact that there is always air for us to breathe. Yet, oxygen is one of the most plentiful elements in our body. And as we breathe, it feeds every cell in our body so that we can continue to live. The most precious gift of our life is air, because without it, none of us would last more than a few minutes, right? While we are trying to earn money, buy all the material stuff, travel, we never give a thought about air. What happens if I have all the material stuff, if I have a big bank balance, but I don't have air to breathe? When I first began to use gratitude's magical power, I used it for a lot of personal things that I wanted, right? And it worked. But it was when I began to be grateful for the real gifts in life that I experienced the ultimate power of gratitude. This is very powerful. Remember how I was talking about the immature people and the experienced practitioners? And there is, don't get me wrong, there is people are immature, they practice, 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 and then they become experienced, right? And this is exactly the difference that Rhonda Byrne is highlighting. When she began to use the gratitude's magical power, and just like all of us, when we start doing gratitude and start saying thank yous more and more, in the beginning, what do we do it for? Material things. I have a big house, I have car, I have money to travel, I went to the show, all the material and the personal things. I'm very thankful for the carpet in my house. I'm very thankful for my table I'm sitting on, right? But when people become experienced, where does the shift become in them? The shift becomes they start to acknowledge the things that are really gift in the life and the things that they have never acknowledged before, like the five elements, like the air. And once we start doing it, we feel so much at peace, we feel so much blessed, we feel so much in harmony with the rest of the world, with the rest of the universe. The more grateful I became for a sunset, a tree, the ocean, the dew on the grass, my life, and the people in it. Every material thing I have ever dreamed of having poured down upon me. So these are the things, like, see, a very simple example, a tree. I can actually elaborate on a tree a little bit more. Like I shared before that I have worked with a lot of the native Indians, and for them, they consider trees as probably the most valuable thing. They have whole big rituals. We read about big ceremonies, do the big ceremonies. They have whole big rituals about trees. When they plant a tree, they have big ceremonies. And I was lucky enough to attend some of their ceremonies, and it's just a different world. It's just a happy environment. The way the native Indians or the shamans, they respect trees. I have never seen any other culture do that. And I have seen few cultures. I won't say I have seen all, but I have seen few. But among all of them, what I have seen, Native Indians, the way they respect a tree, it's just unbelievable. And it's a cycle between the tree and us. We give out carbon dioxide, they take that in, they give out oxygen, and we take it in. So it's a cycle that happens between us and the trees. And these are the things that an experienced practitioners start to notice and they become grateful for. A sunset, a tree, ocean, the dew on the grass. Walk on the grass if you get a chance when it's early morning. People in your life. When you start being thankful for all of this, that means you're becoming in harmony with the universe more and more. Even the material things that we want, they start pouring on us. So, see, this is another drastic difference here. When we are saying gratitude for the material things, we get them, right? Because the law of attraction, we talk about that every day. But when we become one with the universe and when we start to acknowledge um, essential things, simple stuff that we take for granted, even the material things that we want, they pour down on us. Because now you have become one with the universe. You have become like you have come in full harmony with the universe. I now understand the reason why it happened that way. When we can feel truly grateful for the precious gifts of life and nature, like the magical air that we breathe, we have reached one of the deepest possible levels of gratitude. And whoever has that depth of gratitude will receive absolute abundance. And this is what, like, I really, once again, I'm going to say it. I I can say for sure that this happens just based on my experience. I was sharing an example in the Amrit Villa this morning. Some of us go there in the morning. So we had a breakdown in one of our cars. We got the quote from many people. Everybody quoted 500 plus. And then my husband, and it's just yesterday as I'm talking. And then yesterday he reached out to one person who had fixed the windshield in the car. And the breakdown was around the windshield without getting into a lot of details. And the person literally said, "Oh, this I can cover in the warranty of your windshield." And it was just free. So you start experiencing these magical stuff and you start noticing them too. So think about, we were actually ready to spend more than $500 on it, add the HST on top and all of that. Yet, yesterday we got it done for free. Absolutely zero that we had to pay. So this starts to happen. So today, what we have to do is stop and think about the glorious air that you breathe. This is what we're going to do today. We are going to acknowledge the air and we're going to say thank you. Take 5 deliberate breaths and feel the feeling of the air moving inside your body. See, the key here is the deliberate breath. You are going to breathe all through the day today as well. But the idea is slow yourself down. If possible, stop yourself from whatever you're doing and just feel your breathing. Feel the joy of breathing it out. Take 5 full breaths in and out, 5 different times today. So we are going to acknowledge and feel 25 breaths today. And after you have taken each set of 5 breaths, say the magic words, "Thank you for the magical air that I breathe." And be as genuinely grateful as you can for the precious, life-giving air that you breathe. It is best if you can do this magical practice outside so you can really feel and appreciate the magnificence of fresh air. But if that's not possible, then do it inside. You can close your eyes while taking the breaths, or you can do it with your eyes open. You can do it while you're walking, waiting in line, shopping, or anywhere at any time you want. The important thing is to deliberately feel the feeling of the air going in and out of your body. Breathe the way you naturally breathe, because this magical practice is not about your breathing, but about your gratitude for the air you breathe. If taking a bigger breath helps you to feel more gratitude, then do that. If it helps you to make a sound or mentally say the magic words, thank you, as you breathe the air out, then do that. If you want, you can also do a variation of this practice in the future by imagining you're breathing in gratitude and filling yourself up with it in every breath you take. So, see, so many variations you can do this exercise today, right? You can do it at any place you want, preferable outside, but if it has to be inside, let it be inside. You can do it at any place, but the key is focus on the gratitude for the air, not the breath itself. In ancient teachings, it is said that when a person reaches the point of being deeply grateful for the air that they breathe, their gratitude will have reached a new level of power, and they will have become the true alchemist who can effortlessly turn every part of their life into gold. I'm going to break it into two things. The practice is very simple, right? But this practice, it's gonna do two things for you, I feel. One, it's gonna connect you with the most simple thing that we all have taken granted for in our lives. Most of us, we haven't even thought about air, right? So it's going to connect you to the most basic thing in your life. The second, and this is my personal experience, um, maybe you're going to experience it today, maybe you will experience it on a later date, but before I started doing these practices, I was in the same boat, right? Either worrying about the future, not happy with the situations, but not happy with the partner, not happy with the kids, or like not a happy spot. Now, I sometimes find myself, if I'm trying to sleep, right? Night is different, you're doing your magic rock exercise, but if I just want to lay down and I just want to close my eyes, I have shared it with some people already, but sometimes I just now catch myself with every breath. All I'm doing is just saying thank you. Nothing else. There is no other thought in my head. And it just calms me down so much so that all like I don't feel that worry or that what's going to happen, what happened yesterday, what's going to happen tomorrow. None of that. Just simple, calm, every breath, nothing but a thank you repeatedly with the breath. And that's the space you want to get to. Okay. You can find your own comfort zone, maybe while walking. Start taking the magic steps. We have done that exercise in the past. But when you start connecting at the most simple place and the most simple ways, it just grounds you a lot more. Okay. And what happens when you do that? The second part of this is I don't know how many of you understand the word alchemist, but in the traditional way, alchemist means it's a practice in itself. You can read the book Alchemist too. But what it basically means is somebody who is so wise and at a level where everything they touch, it becomes gold, right? So if you read the book, The Alchemist, it talks about a person who is traveling and everything he touches becomes gold. But if you don't take it in the literal sense, not the metal gold, but when you start doing these practices so much so, you turn your life into gold. Your life becomes, you know how precious gold is. Everybody wants gold, and Modi ji says don't buy gold because it is whatever it is right now. Everybody, but still everybody wants gold. Your life becomes that precious. Your everyday becomes that precious. You start to enjoy every day like gold. That's how you become your own alchemist once you get to these advanced practices. It may sound simple. What am I really doing? Just saying thank you for air. What's a big deal? But once you start feeling, remember, feeling is the game. Once you start feeling, once you start living in the gratitude, you become the alchemist of your own life. Magic practice number 23. Number one, I will not repeat. We are all now experienced practitioners. We know what we have to do. Number two, 5 times today, stop and think about the glorious air that you breathe. Take 5 deliberate breaths and feel the feeling of the air moving inside your body and feel the joy of breathing it out. After you have taken the 5 breaths, say the magic words, "Thank you for the magical air that I breathe." Be as grateful as you can for the precious, life-giving air that you breathe. Um, do me a favor, put the alarm for yourself to be able to do this. I really want you guys to put the monetary value to all the breath you have already taken, because then you are really going to understand how much is given to you. It's going to change your perspective. So the exercise that we talked, it's not here, but the exercise that we talked, give the monetary value to all the breaths that you have taken in your entire life until now. Do that as well. It's going to change your perspective. And at the end, just before you go to sleep tonight, Magic Rock, we all know what that is. So not going to spend time explaining that again. I'm going to stop sharing. We have about 2, 3, 4 minutes. Any comment, any question? Yes, Anita.
Oh, thank you so much. Beautiful session again, as always. Um, as you talk about the monetary value, so I was calculating in between. So I just put like 1 cent for 1 second. So suppose we have 86,400 seconds in a day. I calculated till this date, 365 days in a year. Then what is my age? I multiplied. So it comes out to be 14 million and $868. So it's a big amount, almost around 15 millions. Oh my God. Like though it's precious, but still, if we put some values, monetary value. So till this date, I have taken the oxygen of amount 15 million. Oh my God, I'm a millionaire today. Thank you so much.
You have spent millions. That's what the
Oh
difference
yeah.
is,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
honestly, everybody should do it. And maybe in today's session, not today, sorry, tomorrow's session, let's
yeah.
share. We don't have to tell our age. I know some people are sensitive for that. In tomorrow's session, we are going to ask and share how
The
much we
amount.
have already. Yes, the amount. It's going to
Great
be
idea.
fun.
Like
It's going to
I'm
be
feeling so
fun.
rich. Oh my God. Today you made me the millionaire. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for coming again. And tomorrow we'll continue to the next practice. In the meantime, do your exercises, have magical day, night, afternoon, based on wherever you are. And always happy to see you guys here. Thank you.